Little boy, it's sort of fitting that you're on a purple blanket because tonight we are going to nerd wax the nostalgic fun. Yeah, mommy just left. The nostalgic fun of the Paul Stanley Solo album. So, fitting you're there.
I said you'll have fun, and I won't disappoint you.
Before we get into tonight's episode, I wanted to thank my buddy Kyle Barlow.
And Mr. Barlow?
Who gave me this little bust of Shandy. He had also made one for Large, Marge, and Pee-wee. And so after Shandy got put to sleep, he sent us this. And this means a lot to me, man. And they all three preside over the Wax Night basement. And that means a lot to me. Because I need these three spiritual beings out there. Shaping, twisting, spinning the universe for me. Thank you, man. Welcome, fellow Kiss fans. Welcome to It's All For You, Demon. Celebrating the fun of being a Kiss fan tonight, we are celebrating the Paul Stanley Solo album. But even more importantly, is we are talking Italian Prism Stickers. And because one of those Prism Stickers relates to Paul Stanley, I thought we would do the proper nerd review of the Paul Stanley Solo album. And if you are not familiar with my album reviews, I call them nerd reviews because we don't really talk music. I'm horrible at doing album reviews. I will admit it. Just not good at it. I find myself just saying, this song's really good, or I don't like this song. It's kind of bad. Bad reviews. So I went nerd reviews, and that is talking like nostalgic wax about the album, which is what we do here in the Wax Night basement. We wax nostalgia. First, let's hot face. Alright, my hot face this week is kind of 1995 to 1999 Best Buy. And I'm not hot-faced on the store. I'm hot-faced on how the world operated between those years and in Best Buy. I worked at Best Buy in 1999 in the music section. I was Employee of the Month one month, even had my own parking spot. But there was just something so fun about the pre-smartphone. There was something fun about that era. But in 1995, my buddy David and I, we would drive down to Best Buy in Kansas City, 45 minutes away from our house, to buy a CD for the weekend. And in those trips around 1995, I was introduced to the Rhino series, Just Can't Get Enough, new wave hits of the 80s. And those CDs really changed me. I've always been a big 80s person, but learning some of those songs, and songs like Unguarded Moment by The Church, Split Ends, I Got You, I Predict by The Sparks, songs like that, and those CDs really opened me up. Like, if you have never heard Unguarded Moment by The Church, go listen to it tonight, because it has just got a hook of a chorus, and the harmony vocal and that chorus is goosebump worthy. But anyway, I digress. Best Buy was a haven of CDs 1995 to 1999. It was like a destination. And that CD section was amazing in those years. And of course, being super into Kiss, I remember going to Best Buy and seeing this like horrible Kiss box set of CDs called First Kiss. And all it was a clear plastic box with the first album, Hotter Than Hell, Dress to Kill, and Destroyer on CD. That was it. No booklet, no nothing. Just a clear plastic box with those 4 CDs and a little red sticker that said Kiss, First Kiss. And I wanted it. At that time, I would have had the entire catalog on CD and cassette, but just being a collector back then, you wanted everything, and I wanted that box set, and I never got it. I still would like to get it, to this day, just because it's kind of a rare oddity thing. But anyway, brings me to my HOTFACE, and it is something I picked up from Kiss Museum because of my love of the CD and remembering that first Kiss box set. This came out in 1995, and it is called Kiss Chronicle, and it is the remastered first album, Hotter Than Hell and Dressed to Kill, with no booklet, just a cover of Alive saying Kiss Chronicle, and then on the inside, hopefully we can do this without the CDs falling out, is the first album, Hotter Than Hell, Dressed to Kill, and then the liner notes, CD liner notes. But they are the remastered versions. I only have Lick It Up and Double Platinum on remaster, and so now, oh, here we go. Now I have 3 more. So, are we headed down a remaster rabbit hole? Maybe. I don't know. But coming out in 2005, this just reeks of pre-smartphone fun. When you went to places like Best Buy to pick up physical media, hold something in your hand, take it home, take the shrink wrap off, put it into a machine and play it. Those were the good days. That is my HOTFACE. That is Wax Night. Physical media, fun, nostalgic. Doesn't get any better than that. Leave your HOTFACEs below. Now let's wax some Prism stickers. But before we do that, we have to wax Nerd Review, the Paul Stanley Solo album. This won't take long, only a few nostalgic points to mention. 1989. I was heavily into the band Junkyard. If you haven't heard the Junkyard first record, 1989 on Geffen Records, great stuff. It was the guys from Minor Threat, like a punk band. They put together this like Southern Guns N' Roses-ish sounding glam band. They were so cool. Great songs on that. Blues, Hollywood, Simple Man, Hands Off. Just some great stuff on there. Anyway, 1989. When we grew up in St. Joe, the music store in East Hills Mall was Musicland. Somewhere along the late 80s, it became Record Town. 1989, Danny and I are in Record Town. I am super into Hot in the Shade, super into Kiss, going down the rabbit hole of my fandom, and I see a Sound Savers for $9.99 of the Paul Stanley Solo album. And if you remember how they packaged Sound Saver CDs back then, the like liner notes were at the top and the CD was at the bottom, just like this. So weird. It was very weird how they packaged those. Yeah, the liner notes were up, CDs at the bottom, and I just remember staring heavily at this artwork and wondering what that solo album sounded like. Now, Danny had the Paul Stanley Solo album in 1979. He told me he liked it, but he couldn't remember anything from it. And I debated and debated upon buying this. And when you're 15 years old, $9.99 is a lot of money. So I didn't buy it that night, but that is my first nostalgic memory of the Paul Stanley Solo album. Every time I see this cover, I'm immediately back in that Record Town, staring at a Sound Saver CD. Again, physical media in your hand. I love it. Then, of course, once you go down the rabbit hole, you start buying vinyl. And somewhere along the way, probably in college, I found the Paul Stanley Solo album on vinyl with merch form and poster. It's the first time, and this is the first time since college the solo album posters are not on my wall. I have designated every album poster belongs in the album. That's how I'm doing it now. So they're not on the wall. They took up a lot of space on the wall. I love them, but album goodies, for me, album goodies go in the records. And that's a thought I had at 51 years of age. I've always been big on putting these things on my wall, but not anymore. New That's a little nostalgic tidbit. New collecting patterns as you get older. My first Paul Stanley solo album, this is the same one I bought back then in college. The V-neck variant. I had to resort to the internet in a pre-internet basement. I had to resort to the internet to get the V-neck variant. I've never understood the V-neck variant. First pressing, last pressing, never understood it. If you have any details on the V-neck variant, leave those below, because I would like to hear that. But I've never understood it, but I do like it, and it's fun. Which of the two do I like more? Not a big V-neck variant person. I much prefer the normal kind of fade out neck versus the V-neck variant. What is the CD? The CD is the V-neck variant. Never noticed that. See? We're learning something new in Nerd Reviews. Let's go see what the cassette is. The cassette is also the V-neck variant. So there you go. We've learned a little more about the Paul Stanley. I've learned a little more about the Paul Stanley solo album doing a nerd review. And my final bit of the nerd review is we all listen to the solo albums around Phantom time. October, September, fall, nights. This baby, Paul Stanley solo album, is also a winter record for me. Learned that a couple years ago. Snowed beautiful snowflakes one night, and all the bushes out front were covered in snow. And I was just doing like a photo thing for Instagram. Went and sat my Paul Stanley solo album on the snow, and it looked gorgeous. And so ever since, this is a winter record for me. Very nighttime songs, very winter nighttime fun. Fall also, but you play Take Me Away Together as One in the winter at night with the Christmas lights on. Glorious. Which brings us to the reason we are talking Paul Stanley tonight. Got a new Italian Prism sticker in that is just absolutely gorgeous. It's purple. And I mean, come on. You just don't get more fun than that. Got the Kiss logo up there, and this is part of the whole Dynasty set. And we will talk more about these stickers at the end, because we're going to show the sticker wall. Because we got some new stickers, going to put them in a frame, and we'll talk the Italian Prism stickers. But this is part of the Dynasty set. This is the Paul Stanley large Italian Prism sticker. And this is the reason we went nerd review tonight with Paul. And then we have a few more to look at, and I'm just going to look at them over here. It's easier than sitting at the table. This is the large 76 pose where the photo is backwards. As Paul's star is on the wrong eye. But man, this is fun. Look how big that is. That giant logo on the ribbon. And just the goodness of that, man. I love Prism stickers. I loved collecting stickers as a kid, and Prism stickers and the Ventacular stickers that would move, like the Psycho Circus album cover. Probably said that word wrong, but whatever. Those were my favorites. And man, these are just so much fun. Italian Prism stickers. Here's another smaller version of that. No ribbon, but with stars on the side. This is fun too. Smaller than the large. I'll kind of show a little size comparison here, but we're going to show a size comparison here in a minute when we frame them and put them on the wall. But man, those are fun. And then lastly, brand new in, another 76 pose, correct this time. Super fun, yellow background with the stars. These things, to me, are as fun as buckles because they're so eye-catching. I know I should probably put them in a book to flip through them, but they are so cool. They go on the wall. So here is the sticker wall, Dynasty wall that we just talked about last week. Sticker wall. Apologies if we've talked about this before. 2026 is all running together. Up top, Australian stickers. Australian diamond print stickers. We have the Dynasty, Paul, Ace, Gene, Peter. Sorry for the glare. Those are super fun. I need the Eric version. The Prism Love Gun era sticker, my favorite of all of these. And the logo and Dynasty, and then also the diamond print book labels, which are a definite favorite because that is the childhood fun of KISS. A kid in Australia being able to get these and put these on their textbooks, math, history, science, and go to school and not listen to your teacher talk about math, history, or science. You're instead looking at this KISS logo, looking at Gene Simmons, dreaming of your favorite band. And then, of course, the 76 photos that we just talked about. 76 Prism stickers that we just talked about. Frame those, put those up there. And I redid the Italian Prism sticker frame of the Dynasty series. There are a lot of colors. I don't have Slayer Forever money to get all the colors, so I am just going to focus on getting a large Gene, Peter, and Ace, and a small Paul. I love that Ace one. Trying to get around Ace's head as we speak. I love that Ace one because I love the fact he's got red makeup on. That's so cool, and that's why these are so much fun. These are so much fun, and this is the sticker wall. And I love stickers. Wax night, fun. Apologies for the front room looking like a disaster because none of the puppies wanted to come downstairs, but that's okay. We still had wax night. Be good to your babies. Spay, neuter, microchip. Take care. Be safe. We will talk to you. You may have noticed I said puppies because we're going to leave you with a cliffhanger. And that is this little guy. We will talk to you soon.